Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 663rd edition of the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. I'm your host, Daniel Feuerstein. I'll give you an American perspective of our clubs, leagues, players, national team, and other fabulous moments. Get your daily reading from me and other writers. Currently at Beyond the 90, at beyondthe90.substack.com, and currently as well on Bad Dog Sports until Mr. JJ Pavlik returns from his back issues, his back surgery, and I'll be rejoining ajmsportsfc.com locally on the New York Red Bulls, and currently now helping out Bad Dog Sports, doing a little bit of NYCFC as well. But when Mr. Pavlik returns, I'll get back to normal with everything else as well. I don't have a chat room at the moment, and I would love to get a chat room up here, and hopefully I can. But for now, we're just not going to have a chat room. But once I can discover the chat room in StreamYard, I'll get it back up, and hopefully we can get a chat going, and everyone can watch and give me your thoughts about what you believe in the game as well. Tomorrow and Wednesday is the third round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And you know what's even better about that? I'll tell you what is better about that. Look at that. CBS Sports, through their Paramount Plus app, officially streaming the U.S. Open Cup starting in the third round of the 2025 tournament. I'm excited. I am so happy that it's been brought back to CBS Sports, the U.S. Open Cup, back where it belongs on CBS Sports. Once again, there will be selected matches on CBS Sports Network, CBS Sports Golazo Network, but mostly all of the matches will be streamed on Paramount Plus. It will be behind the paywall, unfortunately. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you just have to admit, I mean, this was eventually going to happen anyway. And as great of a job as YouTube has done in the first two rounds for the Open Cup, and no offense to them at all. Look, I'm happy we have a free platform with YouTube, including myself streaming this show live on YouTube. Look, I no offense to YouTube, but I've always felt that a tournament like the Open Cup deserves to be on a professional sports network like CBS Sports. And even though it's mostly going to be streaming these matches on Paramount Plus, or it's being done by another agency outside of CBS, the point is this. If we did not have CBS Sports step up for the game like we've seen it, for football, for soccer, I just don't believe the Open Cup would be in a good place. CBS Sports has done a tremendous job back in 2023 when they all of a sudden came out of nowhere broadcasting 3 Open Cup matches a day on their CBS Sports Golazo network. Everything else went to Bleacher Report and, of course, on U.S. Soccer's YouTube page. But when Turner, who originally purchased all the broadcasting rights from U.S. Soccer for the men's national team, the women's national team, and other properties, including the Open Cup, Turner used their Bleacher Report app to only show 5 matches around. 5 matches a day. Basically, if it was the first round, it'd be 3 days of the first round, then it'd be 15 matches a day. Or altogether 15 matches, 5 matches a day on that day. And then you go to the next round, another 5 matches a day. And then the next round, another 5 matches a day. That would have been 10, and then 10 more, and then 10 more. And once we got to the semifinal round, Turner decided to opt out of the Open Cup and allowed CBS Sports to take it over. They showed both semifinals. They actually broadcasted a semifinal match themselves. And then it was streamed, the other semifinal match. I know they did Inter Miami hosting or should I say FC Cincinnati hosting Inter Miami, and then you had Houston hosting Real Salt Lake in the other semifinal, and then it was all broadcasted live on CBS Sports Network. The 2023 Open Cup final. Sadly, Messi was injured, could not perform, but I still felt the production work of CBS Sports really came up big. And to me, it was a no-brainer. CBS Sports deserved to have the Open Cup on their airwaves and also on their digital platforms as well. And you know what? I'll tell you what else is even better with CBS Sports. During halftime and during in between matches, CBS Sports had analysts at their Golazo Network desks talking about halftime scores, updated scores, and then after a certain amount of time, after the first match was broadcasted, they go to the next match, the evening match, and they were showing updates of finals, current scores of the next round of games. And you know what? To me, you never got that when it was on ESPN. And you'll never ever get that if it was on Apple TV last year for the short period of time. And this is why U.S. Soccer did the right thing. After all the shenanigans that Major League Soccer did, and that they took off from the table CBS Sports' multi-year contract to show the Open Cup. And that's when MLS really tried to screw the Open Cup. They're still screwing the Open Cup. Without a doubt, they're still screwing the Open Cup. 16 MLS teams in U.S. soccer, that's not enough. We need all 27 American MLS teams in the Open Cup from here on out. Now, probably next year it will be the same thing, 16 clubs from MLS. But honestly, folks, this is a travesty. This is a sham. This, my friends, is what should not be happening. CBS Sports, once again, coming up as winners in my book, as they are now the official broadcasters of the U.S. Open Cup for this edition and for next year in 2026. And then when everything is all fine and dandy, I hope for another multi-year agreement between U.S. Soccer and CBS Sports. I personally just give CBS Sports the Open Cup without any problems whatsoever. So hopefully we'll see what's going to happen down the road. But for now, I'm excited. I'm happy. CBS Sports, U.S. Soccer, CBS Sports Golazo Network, CBS Sports Network, Paramount Plus app, the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup being shown through CBS Sports. Here we go. Here's the schedule for the third round of the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be a real doozy. Here we go. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. At 6 p.m. Eastern Time for day one, Tuesday, April the 15th of the third round of the U.S. Open Cup, we have on Paramount Plus, Columbus Crew 2 hosting the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That will be at 6 p.m. Eastern. At 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Network, Louisville City hosting Loudoun United. On Paramount Plus and the Golazo Network, Portland, Maine, Portland Hearts of Pine hosting Rhode Island FC. And then on Paramount Plus, Charlotte Independence hosting North Carolina FC. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Charleston Battery hosting South Georgia Tormenta. At 8 p.m. Eastern, also on Paramount Plus, 7 o'clock Central, Union Omaha hosting San Antonio FC. And then the two late nighters at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Paramount Plus and the Golazo Network. AV Alta FC hosting Orange County SC. And finally, only on Paramount Plus at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, we have Tacoma Defiance hosting the Oakland Roots. And then we go to day two on Wednesday, April the 16th. Battle of Florida right there. It will be on Paramount Plus along with Galazzo Network. FC Naples hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Also at 7 p.m., Detroit City FC hosting Westchester Soccer Club on Paramount Plus. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Indy 11 hosting Miami FC on Paramount Plus. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, FC Tulsa hosting Phoenix Rising. At 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain, Colorado Springs Switchbacks hosting one Knoxville SC. At 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Mountain, New Mexico United hosting El Paso Locomotive, also Paramount Plus and the Galazzo Network. And then one of the big ones, at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, Sacramento Republic hosting El Farolito at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And finally, on Paramount Plus by itself, Las Vegas Lights FC hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves. And that will be, once again, on Paramount Plus by itself. So we got some great games for you, ladies and gentlemen, some awesome games. And, as we go ahead and look into the third round, let's start off with Columbus Crew 2 and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Now, even though the last time, technically, it was the Columbus Crew going to Pittsburgh, going to Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh along the Monongahela, it was the Riverhounds defeating the first team of the Columbus Crew 2-0. This time, you have the Riverhounds coming into Columbus, but only facing the two team of MLS Next Pro. Look, depending on what happens here, whether Crew 2 gets the win or not, this is not officially a revenge game. If this was a revenge game, it would be Wilfred Nuncy at the helm of the Crew. It would be the Columbus Crew playing against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and they would be the ones gaining and earning the revenge. If Crew 2 wins, it's just a win, and it's just adding on saying that these kids can do whatever they want in the Open Cup. Now, you know how I feel about these MLS Next 2 teams, these MLS 2 teams in MLS Next Pro being in the Open Cup who are affiliated with senior MLS sides. They should not be in the Open Cup. They should never be in the Open Cup. And this is going against the Pro League standards. So if Columbus fans feel it will be revenge if Crew 2 gets the win, I hate to disappoint them, but it's not real revenge. Maybe you feel it will be, but in reality, it's not. Just as I have said about LAFC 2, they are not defending the title from LAFC 1. And there's a certain person out there who is their media spokesman in Max Bretos, who was their play-by-play man when they were on the local regional sports network of FanDuel Sports SoCal. When Los Angeles Football Club won the Open Cup last year, they're not defending their title this year, and LAFC 2 does not have the right to defend that title for LAFC 1. So we do not have a defending champion in this Open Cup. And so it's going to be exciting and it's going to be fun. And I cannot wait to see what we're going to have here for this Open Cup tournament. And as we keep on going here with round 3, let's just quickly go back to the first page on Tuesday. We're going to have Louisville City taking on Loudoun United. Now, Louisville City has always been a very, very tough customer in USL Championship. And, they've never really gone far, and hopefully they will. But it's going to be one of those moments where maybe Louisville City will finally do a job here. And if you'll just excuse me for one moment, apparently I have a bit of an issue coming up, so I will be right back. Do not run away. I'll be right back. I promise. I will not go away. I have a quick little issue that has just come to my attention. I will be right back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize about that. I had a bit of a emergency I had to take care of, and I'm back here with you. And I apologize about that. Hopefully, that won't happen again. Um, but once again, as we talk about what's going to be happening here in the Open Cup, Louisville City once again has had their moments where they've looked like to be the better team and a strong, maybe making a run, but unfortunately for them, they've always fallen short after the first two or three rounds that they get involved with. So, and once again, Loudoun United will be over there as their opponent. And unfortunately, Loudoun United, we haven't really seen them make a real big run in the Open Cup. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. Now, let's talk about Portland Hearts of Pine. They have been tremendous in these first two rounds of the Open Cup, especially that big matchup in round two against Hartford Athletic. Now, I thought they were done and dusted when they lost a man on the red card, and then they got scored on. But when they got that lucky bounce to force extra time, and they couldn't score, I shouldn't say, no, they got the goals in extra time, I should say. So they, when they forced the penalty kick shootout, I didn't know what to expect from Portland at all. And when they edged Hartford in the penalty kick shootout, they really proved to me they really want to be a part of the Open Cup. And, Rhode Island FC, what can you say about the season they had last year? Connor Smith has just been tremendous in league play. And Rhode Island also had a decent run in last year's Open Cup. And now they're going to start in the third round. And, another New England matchup back in Maine. And this is going to be something special, something exciting. And I really cannot wait to see what Rhode Island's FC is going to do. And I really believe everyone who is going to be going up there from Rhode Island themselves, they are going to travel up to Portland, Maine, and they're really going to show why that Rhode Island is not a fluke. I really think we're going to get ourselves a great battle here, and I can't wait to see how far this one could go. It could end in regulation. It could end in extra time. It could end in a penalty kick shootout. But definitely, I can't wait to see what Rhode Island FC is going to do here, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This will be tremendous. And then in the battle for North Carolina, Charlotte Independence hosting North Carolina FC. As you know, North Carolina FC is back in the Championship League. This should be exciting. This should be a fun one. And, they were big-time rivals in USL League One before NCFC moved back up to the Championship League. So we'll see what's going to happen there. South Carolina against Georgia as Charleston Battery hosts South Georgia Tormenta. Charleston Battery have had their successes in the Open Cup. They've been very, very strong. They've been very, very good. And, I don't take Charleston lightly at all. I think they're going to be a dangerous team in this Open Cup, like they've always been dangerous in championship play in USL. So I expect Charleston to do some damage here. I expect them to be very cagey. South Georgia Tormenta has been a bit of a wild card at times. They've had some good moments. They've had some bad moments in the Open Cup. But I really think that they're going to do something big here. Now, the real match, one of the two, I would say, in this one, Union Omaha of USL League One hosting San Antonio FC. Now, Union Omaha winning their second USL League One championship is nothing to sneeze at. We remember back in 2022, Union Omaha had that run in the Open Cup. They knocked out Minnesota United FC. They had a hell of a run. And unfortunately for them, they fell to Sporting Kansas City. And right now, with Sporting Kansas City, we'll see what, they're not having a great time of it in MLS play. But for Union Omaha, they've been strong. They have been really, really a difficult side to battle against. So even though San Antonio is going to be a good challenge for Union Omaha, I feel this is going to be one of those games San Antonio needs to make sure that they don't fall asleep on this Nebraska side. Union Omaha is ready to go. and they will be dangerous in this Open Cup. So we'll wait and see what happens when we get there. Antelope Valley, AV Alta FC will be hosting, once again, Orange County SC. And Alta so far has been tremendous in the Open Cup in their first two matches. Now, unfortunately, they've lost their head coach, Cleaban, and Jimmy Villalobos due to red cards being issued to them, straight reds. And unfortunately, well, I should say straight red to the head coach in Cleaban, but for Villalobos, he got double yellowed after he scored the game winner in second half stoppage time against LAFC 2. It was basically, unfortunately, Villalobos, who was already on a yellow card, when he scored the winner, pulled off his shirt, got that yellow card for removing his shirt off of his body, second yellow into red, and he's suspended for the match as well. So this one could be an issue for AV Alta, even though they're hosting the match in Lancaster County. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here. But still, though, I really believe that this is going to be a good one, and it should be exciting. Once again, you can watch AV Alta hosting Orange County SC, not just streaming on Paramount Plus, but you can watch that one live on Galazzo Network, either through Paramount Plus app or free streaming on PlutoTV.com. So get ready for that one. Should be fun. Tacoma Defiance hosting Oakland Roots at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Final game of the third round in day one. And the Roots, even though they finally got their first win this season, it's still an MLS 2 team. I really believe that Oakland should go into Washington State and handle their business. But we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. We don't know. And hopefully everything will be right as rain if Oakland Roots takes this road trip seriously, because we saw what happened in round two. Lexington SC did not take the Crew 2 teams seriously, and they got beat for no reason at all. They should have put them to the saw, but they didn't. And the scrappy kids of Columbus Crew 2 got the better of Lexington SC, and I thought that was just a mistake. Day two on Wednesday, April the 16th. Once again, those are the games. We got the Battle of Florida right there between FC Naples hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and that will be seen both on Paramount Plus and Galazzo Network. I mean, it's really simple. You got Division 3 team in Naples taking on a Division 2 team in Tampa Bay Rowdies. This will be exciting, a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm going to call it a toss-up because I don't know what we're going to get here. As good as Naples has looked, and as crappy as the Rowdies have looked so far since sacking their head coach and bringing in the interim, I don't know. This could be a wild card, folks. This is one of those games in the Open Cup. This could be a wild card, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Detroit City FC hosting Westchester SC from Westchester County, New York. And, the way that Westchester has played so far in these first two Open Cup matches, they seem to be very scary right now. And we all know Detroit City, they're not going to take their opponents lightly. They're going to come in there, they're going to handle their business, and we'll see what happens. But I really, truly don't believe that Detroit City is going to take them for granted. Detroit City is going to handle their business, and we'll see what happens further down the road. Indy 11 will be hosting Miami FC. I apologize on the mistake. And, look, the Mike has always been a fortress for Indy 11, and hopefully they'll have their situation remedied soon with the stadium for 11 Park, and hopefully that will come to fruition after the current issues they've been having with the city governance. So we'll wait and see about that. But right now, Miami FC has been now they're starting off on the right foot here. They've won the first two rounds of the Open Cup, And so, this is a battle between USL championship teams, and I just believe that Miami could upset Indy 11 on the road. So, we'll see what happens there. But this will be at the Mike Carroll Track and Field Stadium over at the campus of IUPUI. And I really believe that this should be a good one as well. FC Tulsa taking on Phoenix Rising. Phoenix Rising had a great league win at San Antonio, Margarita, uh, last weekend, I should say. Scored a hell of a goal, and they're looking to be a real problem team in the Western Conference of USL Championship. But once again, you never know. Things can change, and we'll have to wait and see. The defending USL Championship winners, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, taking on and hosting one Knoxville SC. Now, Knoxville has been pretty good in the first two rounds. They've had hiccups surpassing the third round. And who knows? We'll see what happens. Maybe this is their time to shine and get through that one issue. But once again, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, they're riding a high after winning the USL Championship title this past fall. So we'll see what happens there. We got New Mexico United starting up against El Paso Locomotive, and then Locomotive so far has looked pretty darn good in their first two Open Cup matches. Basically they've handled their business against teams that basically they just took easy advantage of, and it should be exciting and fun. This is the one I've been waiting for, and it's not just so much as a California battle, because we all know what Sacramento Republic can do in USL Championship. We all remember that run back in the 2022 Open Cup final. They got to the final. They traveled to Orlando, had a very good first half in the final in Orlando. But at the end of the day, Orlando City was just too much for them, and they got a 3-0 loss to Orlando City. So I don't put anything past Sacramento Republic. They're still a dangerous team, and we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But El Farolito right now is that club where they are one of the better lower division sides away from the professional ranks of U.S. soccer, and I believe the burrito joint, the taquero in San Francisco. I think they're going to do some damage here, and I wouldn't put it past them if they go to Sacramento and they do a job. I really believe that. I think they can do it. We'll have to wait and see, but once again, that's why they play the games. And finally, Las Vegas Lights FC taking on Chattanooga Red Wolves after their victory over Chattanooga FC in the Chattanooga Derby, or I like to call it the Chattanooga Choo Choo Derby. We'll have to wait and see. I have seen it many times when you play a rival, a hated rival, and you get the victory. Sometimes when you get ready for the next game, it's not the same hatred. Sure, you're taking on the Lights, and you're going to have to battle against them over in Cashman Field, over in Vegas. But obviously it's survival of the fittest. But once again, when you watched Chattanooga FC versus Chattanooga Red Wolves, that was action personified. That was creme de la creme football. You rarely get that here unless they're all in the same league and they're battling each other for many, many years. Look what's going on. Cincinnati had that battle over Louisville City when they used to be in USL Championship. And then when Cincinnati moved to MLS, that battle is barely there in the regular season. And if you're lucky enough in the draw to have those two teams battle each other out, after the draw happens, well, then so be it. But from that point on, you're just not going to get that in the regular season. And that's where I think it's a shame that if you are a Chattanooga soccer fan, depending on if you're in the red or if you're in the blue, why can't you get that all the time? I mean, you got Red Wolves in USL League One, and you have Chattanooga FC in MLS Next Pro. And depending what happens there, who knows? But if Chattanooga FC can rejoin Chattanooga Red Wolves regularly in league play and they go into USL League One, then hey, problem solved. But we won't get that again in the Open Cup unless there's a real draw. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen over there. But once again, I'm happy that we have CBS Sports now doing this, doing the Open Cup. I wish it was from the first round on, but that's for this year. And hopefully maybe next year we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm excited that CBS Sports starts in the third round of the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And then on Thursday, April the 17th, that's when this baby comes out and I go get my pen. That's right. Look at that. My draw sheet for the fourth round draw of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. So there it is, folks, right here. My draw sheet as I get ready for the Open Cup fourth round draw. And that's when Major League Soccer teams come into play. And that's when we're going to see 16 American MLS sides battling to see who advances to the fifth round. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what's going to happen there. And, also, just to reiterate, one of my stories from Beyond the 90, and you can take a look at it, how do I fix the Open Cup draw dates? Now, once again, you can Google that, church, type in Beyond the 90 opinion fixing the Open Cup draw dates. Get that fixed. I believe that we should have regional draws, regional blind draws from the first round all the way to the quarterfinals. And then you keep the semifinal situation where you have the winners of the lone member of the East faces the lone member of the South, the lone member of the Central faces the lone member of the West, and then whoever wins that will play each other in the final, and then you'll still have your draw for who hosts the semifinal, and then the order going from 1 to 4, who will host the Open Cup final. Because, we don't have a Wembley here in the United States. And even if we did, I would have said our nation's capital at RFK Stadium. And technically it's still there, but not how it used to be. But I wouldn't have minded RFK Stadium if it was still up being our Wembley in some way, because it is played in our nation's capital. But it's not going to happen. And you know what? That's quite all right. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. And hopefully, maybe one day it'll happen. I don't think it will. I understand our country is too big, too vast. But, if we follow the game plan of what U.S. Adult Soccer Association has with Regions 1, Region 2, Region 3, Region 4, and of course, Region 1 is the East, Region 2 is the Central, Region 3 is the South, from the Southeast to the South Central, and then Region 4, which is West, including Alaska and Hawaii, then I believe that we wouldn't have these micro regional draws. I just believe that these regional draws or these micro regional draws, it's not putting the Open Cup into a solid position. And like I said, look, if U.S. Soccer wants that idea from me, regional draws from the opening round all the way to the quarterfinals, I have no issues with it whatsoever, because I think we all want what's best for this tournament, and we all want what's best for the game and for the Open Cup. We need to have, and to make sure, we need to have this Open Cup championship be what it truly is, the national championship of American soccer. We need to have this as the national championship of American soccer to be taken seriously by everybody, not just this one group, not pros versus the cons, everybody. And what people need to understand is that you can compare this to the NCAA Men's Final Four basketball tournament. It is that comparable. It is one and done. There is no replay. You go straight into extra time, and if you can't settle it in extra time, you go right to penalty kicks. And even though I understand that penalty kicks, excuse me, and even though I understand that penalty kicks, it's not a fabulous ender. The truth is, it's what we got. And it does have its excitement within itself as well. So I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly happy with it. And, it's a situation where I believe that this is the only way you can settle it with the Open Cup. So far, so good. I still feel that more needs to be done, but overall, it's just been tremendous to see what they've done so far to bring back the Open Cup to where it should be. We're not there all the way yet. MLS needs to relent a lot more, and they need to stop acting like a bully and just accept that the Open Cup is here to stay and that they should get rid of the Leagues Cup. The Leagues Cup is a waste of space. It's a waste of time. You can say to me, oh, look, this is so much better than the Open Cup. No, it's not. It's going against the principles and the natural order of how this sport is governed, period, without a doubt. Now, let me give you guys a story here. And I like giving stories because why? I'll tell you why. Because I like to share my adventures that I've had covering professional soccer in the United States. When you travel for these Open Cup games, you're going to places you've never been to. If you have the money, if you have the time, you can definitely make a trip. And, if you can drive to it and not, spend too much money driving over, then I believe, you'll be able to make it and have fun. When I lived in New Jersey, I was able to drive to Philadelphia and drive to Chester to where the Union play. And, that's just a nice trip. You just have to get gas, stop at certain checkpoints, depending on which way you go, whether there's a Wawa or a Quick Check or a 7-Eleven, depending on, or even a rest stop, gas station stop, you do that. I would, before I left New Jersey, I had a Wawa nearby, and boy, I tell you, those pretzels are amazing, folks. Love those pretzels. I can't eat pretzels anymore, unfortunately, but if you get one of those large pretzels, not the single one, but like the double one, the large one, like the big ones, I mean, it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. Get yourself some a hoagie, a soup, chips, anything and everything. It is just worth it going to a Wawa. That's how I see it. But driving to Chester to do a Red Bull game against the Union, whether it be a league game or an Open Cup game, which I've done already several times, it's just a lot of fun. If I would travel to cover the Red Bulls at DC United, it's not an overnight. I mean, it's not a single day and then go back. I stay over in DC, and ever since they built Audi Field, I mean, I would take Amtrak to go to Washington, D.C. from Newark Penn Station, and then take the local D.C. Metro subway lines and take the red line going from Union Station to Gallery Place, transfer it to a green line train, and that would stop over at Navy Yard Ballpark. And then I just want to walk one block to my hotel, which is the Hampton Inn. And behind the Hampton Inn, behind the center field, left field gates, is Nationals Park. And then when you walk around Nationals Park, Audi Field is just across and diagonally away where DC United is from Nationals Stadium, Nationals Park, and they did a great job over there reconfiguring the Navy Yard section, and there's just tons of places to go to eat. There are plenty of hotels, living area. Um, I'd love to go back there again whenever I can, hopefully, and check it all out. But you know, being a train fan that I am, and I don't mind sharing this with you, being a railroad fan, a train fan, I love taking Amtrak. I love taking the New York City subway, New Jersey Transit Rail, light rail, Long Island Railroad, Metro North Railroad, whether you go up Westchester County, um, Rockland County, Connecticut, all over New Jersey, like Bergen County, Passaic County, all over New Jersey. Um, I would take the railroad to go to the Open Cup. And this one time, I've done it twice, and I always made sure that I put myself in a good place to park my car and not have to worry about it. And then, of course, take the train in and then get to my destination. So what I did was I would park, and this is the second time actually that I did this, going to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And some of you, if you remember the Harrisburg City Islanders, who later became Penn FC, the Red Bulls played the Harrisburg City Islanders twice in the Open Cup, and they were all in the same round, the third, fourth round. And they went over there. The first time I went there, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this is when I was writing for MLS Talk at the time, which is at the time the World Soccer Talk family of sites. So the first time I went to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, drove my car to the train station, and New Jersey Transit train station, I should say, and then got on over at Secaucus Junction, and then I took another train that would be the Northeast Corridor train, and that would go from Secaucus to Newark Penn Station. And so from that point forward, I took Amtrak from Newark Penn Station, and there's two trains that goes into central Pennsylvania and western Pennsylvania. Actually, one train goes into central Pennsylvania and the other one goes into western Pennsylvania all the way to Pittsburgh and terminates there. The Keystone line goes to Harrisburg. And when I got to Harrisburg, it was amazing. I felt like I was taken back in time to the 1930s, the old train shed that it was, went up the stairs into this big walkway, and just went straight down, nicely designed. It felt like being in Union Station in DC with the squares for the design on the ceiling. And then when I got there, because that was my first time in Harrisburg, and I was staying at a Crown Plaza hotel, and I didn't know how to get there at that time because that was like my first time going to Harrisburg. So what did I wanted to do? I got a taxi, and I got the taxi, and we went a back way. I'm like, look, I'm not going to question a taxi. He knows where he's going, or so I thought. And then he, he got on the main road, and then all of a sudden he passed my hotel. And if I didn't see my hotel right away, he probably would have, charged me an arm and a leg in his taxi cab. And I saw him. I said to him, "Hey, you passed my hotel." "Oh, sorry about that." And he pulled over, and I paid him and I walked out, and I just said to myself, that's the last time I am ever taking a taxi cab in Harrisburg, because if they're going to try and, rip me off and try to make money off of me and try and get me lost, nope, it's not going to happen here. Not going to let that happen again. And so I got to my room, checked in, got to my room, went upstairs, and I took a good early train because I wanted to relax and take it easy before I would head over to the stadium, and I'll get to that in a minute. But at the time, I don't think it was Google Maps. I think it was Yahoo Maps, and so the earlier Maps programs, you don't have that a feature where you can see a cityscape version, like you'll see the streets and you'll see the apartment buildings or regular buildings or parks and stuff like that. So what I did was I didn't want to take a taxi cab back to the train station. If I can walk, if there's a different way to go, if I can walk it and not have an issue, I'll do that. And, I basically, thankfully, where I was staying at, the street that is up a block or two from my hotel room was the main street. And that's the main street that goes straight into the Harrisburg Intermodal Transportation Building, which is the bus and the train. And so what I did was, I walked back on the next day. But to the game, I decided to walk, I want to walk to the stadium where Harrisburg City Islanders were. And so I walked towards seeing on the map that there is a pedestrian bridge along the Susquehanna River, and that bridge leads to an actual island where, at the time, and they still have a professional sports team on that island, which is the minor league baseball team, the Double A affiliate of the Washington Nationals, and the Harrisburg Senators. That's right, the Harrisburg Senators. And so, I filmed a little bit of my trek on the street going towards the island to where the City Islanders play and the Senators play. And, passing by some, historic colonial houses. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And I really, really was happy to see that. I was excited to see that. I was thrilled because, I felt like Harrisburg for me is like you slice out a neighborhood section of Philadelphia, and then you basically just throw it right into the middle of central Pennsylvania and right along Susquehanna River. And then I crossed over the pedestrian bridge, and I got there, and then you had to make a right, and then you're passing the baseball stadium, the minor league baseball stadium, and then there's this. Well, I'll admit, excuse me, it was a field with a bunch of benches. It was a field with a bunch of benches. And then they had a party deck behind the southern end of the stadium. And that one, unfortunately, the Red Bulls lost 1-0 in second half stoppage time to Harrisburg. But outside of the result and the loss, and I thought they played well, just they got snookered on a final opportunity that they didn't see, and they got the goal to beat the Red Bulls. It was a fun time. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. And I said to myself, if I'm going to come back here again, which I hope they get drawn to Harrisburg again, I'm going to document my entire trip next time on Amtrak. And that's what I did in 2012. Because that first game was in 2010. Their next trip to Harrisburg was in 2012. And so I'm going to fully document it and make it really, I want to make it look good and to make it like a travel piece at the same time. So what I'll be doing is for Beyond the 90, I'm going to write it tonight once I'm done here. I'm going to write it tonight. And I am going to at least show, I think I made 3 separate videos of it, going from Newark Penn Station to Philadelphia, and then from Philadelphia to Harrisburg, and then some match highlights, and then being back at the Harrisburg Intermodal Transportation Center, getting a local Harrisburg newspaper, and just doing a video, and then that's it. It made no sense to do a video on the trip back because it was going to end right there. But, look, all I can say is this was a lot of fun. I've hoped to try and do that again with the Open Cup against a USL team, a lower level team, if I could, involving the Red Bulls. I have done a Red Bull under 23 Open Cup match, 2 of them, once against the Vermont Voltage at their training facility, and then another one against, I believe it was FC Motown over in Montclair. But those are the only 2 times I've done a lower level Open Cup match. I've yet to do an Open Cup qualifier, which I would love to do. Now that I'm down here in South Florida, so maybe I can do something like that around here. And hopefully, maybe, once I've been having some foot issues, so once that's done, I can finally, drive again and get somewhere. But we'll see what happens there. But all I can say is I love the Open Cup. The Open Cup is so much fun. And I am just thrilled to have, to get back into it. And we're at round 3. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, CBS Sports coverage of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. You can watch it digitally on Paramount Plus. You could also watch it digitally on Golazo Network, either through the Paramount Plus app, website, or free at PlutoTV.com. And of course, designated matches for CBS Sports Network. Once again, here are the matches for Tuesday, April the 15th. Columbus Crew 2 hosting Pittsburgh Riverhounds at Lower.com Field, Paramount Plus. Louisville City hosting Loudoun United at Lynn Family Stadium, both on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Network. Portland Hearts of Pine from Portland, Maine hosting Rhode Island FC on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Golazo Network. Charlotte Independence hosting North Carolina FC on Paramount Plus. Charleston Battery hosting South Georgia Tormenta, Paramount Plus. Union Omaha hosting San Antonio FC on Paramount Plus. AV Alta FC, that's Antelope Valley, hosting Orange County SC, both on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Golazo Network. And finally, Tacoma Defiance hosting Oakland Roots over at Paramount Plus. On Wednesday, April the 16th, once again, FC Naples hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies, both on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Golazo Network. We also have Detroit City FC hosting Westchester SC on Paramount Plus. Indy 11 hosting Miami FC on Paramount Plus. FC Tulsa hosting Phoenix Rising on Paramount Plus. Colorado Springs Switchbacks hosting One Knoxville on Paramount Plus. Not Minnesota, but New Mexico United hosting El Paso Locomotive, both on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Golazo Network. Sacramento Republic hosting El Farolito on Paramount Plus and CBS Sports Network. Las Vegas FC, the Lights hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves on Paramount Plus. And don't forget, on Thursday, April the 17th, will be the 4th round U.S. Open Cup draw. And I have my draw sheet ready. Do you have your draw sheet ready for the 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup? I do. Get ready for it. I believe it'll be once again on CBS Sports Golazo Network. That should be exciting. That should be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait. So Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the third round of the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is ready, and it's on its way. This should be exciting. This should be a lot of fun, and I know that I cannot wait, just like you cannot wait myself. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Once again, Kartik Krishnaiyer could not join me tonight. There's a death in the family, and hopefully we'll have him back on to discuss the Open Cup and everything else. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching me tonight. I hope all of you will enjoy tomorrow night and Wednesday night's Open Cup battles. And as always, please enjoy your football, because once again, this will be another Open Cup night across America on CBS Sports digital and linear platforms. Once again, my name is Daniel Feuerstein, and as always, enjoy your football. Bye-bye for now.